From the beginning, I think he had a big crush on me. He was a delightful young man with these big green eyes who, and great big hands and feet. He hadn't grown into himself.
When people think of the Brady Bunch, they remember a clean-cut family with matching outfits, big smiles, and even bigger hair. But behind the iconic scenes of this classic sitcom, the reality was far from the perfect image on screen. The show that defined a generation of family television was also quietly dealing with its own share of chaos. Years later, the former cast members began opening up about what really happened when the cameras stopped rolling. Behind the scenes of the Brady Bunch. The Brady Bunch is one of those shows that everyone knows, whether you were around when it first aired from 1969 to 1965 or discovered it in reruns. Despite struggling with low ratings at first, the show quickly became a symbol of the typical middle-class family, thanks in part to its catchy theme song and the charm of its lovable characters. The simple, relatable portrayal of a blended family dealing with the ups and downs of daily life struck a chord with viewers. Over time, the Brady Bunch gained massive popularity through reruns and has since become a fixture of pop culture. But behind all that wholesome, picture-perfect family drama was a different reality. Like many long-running shows, the Brady Bunch had its fair share of off-screen secrets, controversies, and rumors. While the show's public image was one of harmony, the cast faced their personal struggles, and tensions occasionally ran high. Over the years, these behind-the-scenes stories have fueled much speculation, adding an extra layer of intrigue to the beloved family sitcom. Susan Olsen, who played Cindy Brady, the youngest member of the Brady family, has been at the center of many of these rumors. Growing up in the public eye, she became accustomed to dealing with gossip about herself and her fellow cast members. Now, decades later, she's taken it upon herself to address some of the most persistent myths about the show and its stars. One of the longest-running rumors surrounding the Brady Bunch was the alleged affair between Florence Henderson, who portrayed Carol Brady, and Barry Williams, who played Greg Brady. For years, this rumor suggested that there was more than just familial affection between the two actors. While it's true that Barry Williams had a crush on Florence Henderson, Olsen has been vocal in setting the record straight. She explained that although Barry admired Florence, their relationship was completely innocent. Florence, Barry, showing kindness to the young actor, agreed to let Barry take her out for her birthday. This gesture, however, was misinterpreted and over time morphed into the idea of a secret romance. Olsen made it clear that their relationship was always based on mutual respect and care, nothing more. The rumors that swirled about an affair were simply exaggerated. Susan Olsen also found herself the subject of an even more bizarre and distressing rumor about her own death. False reports spread claiming that she had died in a tragic accident, sending shockwaves through her fans and the media. The rumor stemmed from an unfortunate mix-up with another young girl named Susan Olsen, who had actually died in a horrific accident. Susan was understandably upset by the confusion, but she responded with a blend of humor and seriousness. She reassured her fans that she was, in fact, very much alive, handling the situation with grace and wit. Though the rumor was unsettling, Susan's light-hearted handling of it showed her resilience in the face of public scrutiny. Growing up in the limelight comes with its own set of challenges. While she loved her work and enjoyed being part of the show, the constant attention that came with it often felt more like a burden than a blessing. She frequently spoke about how overwhelming it was to be in the spotlight at such a young age. The constant scrutiny made her question whether staying on the show was worth it. One incident in particular stands out in her memory. She was surrounded by a crowd of fans, so much so that she needed police assistance to get away. The experience left her shaken and thinking about leaving the show. Ultimately, she decided to stay. But it wasn't without struggle. The pressures of fame at such a young age were undeniable, and they shaped her outlook on both her career and life in the industry. For viewers, the Brady Bunch was all smiles and sunshine. But off-camera, things weren't always so picture-perfect. Lasting friendships with co-stars. Despite the challenges, Susan Olsen has maintained strong relationships with her Brady Bunch co-stars. The bond they formed on set went beyond the cameras, and those friendships have endured over the years. Olsen has always spoken highly of Robert Reed, who played her on-screen father, Mike Brady. Reed was a mentor and a genuine friend. He supported Olsen both professionally and personally, even going so far as to write recommendation letters for her when she applied to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts. Reed's kindness extended off the set as well, showing that his care for his young co-stars went far beyond their roles on the show. His guidance helped Olsen navigate the tough world of child stardom, something that many others in the industry were not prepared to handle. After the Brady Bunch ended, Susan Olsen faced the challenge of shedding her iconic role as Cindy Brady. Typecasting became a huge obstacle for her. Despite her talent, casting directors had a hard time seeing her as anything other than the adorable, pigtailed youngest Brady. This frustration pushed her to step away from acting for a while. She wanted to pursue other avenues that allowed her to grow beyond the limitations of her famous role. Olsen's decision to leave acting was not a retreat, but a move toward finding fulfillment in other areas of her life. She eventually found a new passion in teaching acting to children, drawing from her own experiences in the industry. Olsen encourages aspiring actors to focus on honing their craft rather than seeking fame or recognition. She stresses the importance of doing good work and finding fulfillment in the process, rather than the applause that may or may not follow. Barry Williams, who played Greg Brady, faced his own set of difficulties during the height of the Brady Bunch's success. As a young man thrust into the spotlight, Williams experienced the pressures that often come with celebrity. Like many teenagers in the 1960s and 70s, he experimented with marijuana. It was a phase of curiosity, fueled by the desire to escape the constraints of his celebrity life. The fame that came with being part of an iconic show had its drawbacks. The pressure to conform to the image of the all-American teenager often led Williams to try things he wouldn't have otherwise. His story is one of youthful experimentation and the struggles that come with being thrust into the adult world before fully understanding it. During the filming of the Brady Bunch episode, Law and Order, Barry Williams had a significant moment that would change his perspective on acting forever. He openly admitted that he was under the influence of marijuana while on set that day. This experience served as a wake-up call for him. Barry soon realized that his performance suffered when he wasn't fully present and clear-headed. He understood that his best work could only come from a focused mind. This realization led him to steer clear of substances in the future, recognizing how much they had hindered his growth both personally and professionally. Maureen McCormick's struggle with perfection. Maureen McCormick, who played Marcia Brady, also faced her own personal battles during her time on the show. The character of Marcia was the picture of perfection, but Maureen didn't always feel perfect herself. The pressure to maintain that flawless image led to deep feelings of insecurity. As a young woman trying to live up to the idealized persona of her character, she found herself turning to substances. During her teenage years, the stress and pressure of her role took a toll, and Maureen sought refuge in narcotics as a way to cope. Her substance addiction had serious consequences. One of the most heartbreaking was missing an audition for Raiders of the Lost Ark, a role that would go on to become iconic. The opportunity slipped through her fingers, and Maureen's struggles with addiction prevented her from seizing the chance. This moment became a painful reminder of what she was losing due to her addiction. It was a wake-up call that drove her determination to turn things around. By the mid-1980s, Maureen McCormick had made the difficult decision to recover from her addiction. It wasn't an easy road, but she was determined to reclaim her life. Recovery required a lot of hard work, self-discovery, and facing the underlying fears that had fueled her struggles. Maureen confronted her challenges head-on, working through the emotional baggage that had haunted her during her younger years. Her recovery marked a new chapter, one where she started living life on her own terms. Maureen documented her journey in her memoir, Here's the Story: Surviving Marcia Brady and Finding My True Voice. In this book, she shared the raw and honest details of her life behind the scenes of the Brady Bunch, offering a glimpse into the struggles she faced while growing up in the public eye. Many readers found her story inspiring, as it showed that even in the toughest times, it's possible to overcome challenges and come out stronger on the other side. Barry and Maureen's experiences reflect the unseen pressures and struggles that come with being a young star in Hollywood. The perfect images they portrayed on screen didn't tell the full story of what was happening behind the scenes. Their battles with addiction were part of their journeys, but overcoming them became a major achievement in their lives. These struggles helped shape who they are today, teaching them valuable lessons about resilience, self-worth, and the importance of taking care of oneself. Robert Reed, who played Mike Brady, was an important figure in the lives of his co-stars. His role on the show was that of a father figure, and in real life, he played a similar role off-screen. He was a strong supporter of his fellow cast members, offering guidance and encouragement whenever it was needed. Robert's kindness and mentorship went beyond his character on the show, showing that his care for his young co-stars was genuine and heartfelt. Reed's support was particularly evident when he helped Maureen McCormick navigate her difficult time. As she struggled with addiction, Robert was there to offer a helping hand, demonstrating that the bond the cast shared on screen was real and extended beyond the set. His actions spoke to the kind of person he was: caring, supportive, and always ready to lend a helping hand to those in need. In many ways, the journey of the Brady Bunch cast members reflects the complexity of growing up in Hollywood. Behind the cameras, they were faced with the pressures of fame, addiction, and personal struggles. But despite the challenges, they each found a way to move forward, learn from their experiences, and emerge stronger. The struggles of Robert Reed. Robert Reed was the embodiment of a loving and dependable father figure on the Brady Bunch. But behind the camera, Robert Reed's life was far from the perfect image he projected on screen. The truth was, Reed was gay, but he kept his sexuality hidden from the public due to the social norms and expectations of the time. Being openly gay in the late 1960s and early 1970s, especially in Hollywood, was not only rare but also deeply unpopular. This secret forced Reed to lead a double life. The man he truly was had to be hidden away to preserve his career and public image, a constant source of internal conflict. His personal struggles became more pronounced as he navigated the pressures of being a public figure in an era where his sexual identity would have been a career-ending liability. Reed's life became a silent battle between his authentic self and the persona he had to maintain for the sake of his career. Reed's colleagues on the Brady Bunch were well aware of his personal challenges, and Florence Henderson, who played his wife Carol Brady, later opened up about what she knew of his struggles. She shared that Reed found it increasingly difficult to live a double life, concealing his true identity in order to meet the societal expectations of the time. According to Henderson, this constant suppression took a serious emotional toll on him. She described the weight of his secret, noting how draining it was for him to pretend to be someone he wasn't, day in and day out. Henderson's empathy for Reed was clear, and she understood the deep emotional and psychological cost of hiding his true self. She didn't just see a talented actor playing a role, she saw a person struggling with the burden of a hidden truth, and that made her admiration for him even stronger. Florence Henderson's reflections offer us a glimpse into the real man behind the character of Mike Brady, one who, despite his public success, was often at odds with his private life. Robert Reed's decision to keep his sexuality secret was influenced by the strict societal conventions of his time, as well as the nature of the entertainment industry. He understood that revealing his truth could end his career. In a time when being openly gay could lead to career destruction, he chose to keep his personal life under wraps. This decision allowed him to continue working in the industry he loved, but it came at a significant personal cost. The emotional toll of this secrecy was immense, and it weighed heavily on him, affecting his relationships and his overall well-being. Despite these personal battles, Reed remained fully committed to his work. His portrayal of Mike Brady was a testament to his dedication as an actor. He brought depth and humanity to the character, making Mike Brady one of television's most beloved father figures. His performance was crucial to the success of the Brady Bunch and helped cement the show as an iconic part of television history. But behind the scenes, Reed was continually torn between the man he was expected to be and the man he truly was. Florence Henderson's reflections provide deeper insight into the man behind the perfect family figure that was Mike Brady. While Reed's public life was carefully curated to fit the image of an ideal father, his private life was filled with internal conflict. The pressure to maintain a facade took a toll on his mental and emotional health. Yet, despite all of this, Reed never let his personal struggles interfere with his professional life. His dedication to his craft and his love for his work remained steadfast throughout his career. He created a character that generations of viewers would come to know and love, all while wrestling with the realities of a life lived in the shadows. While Robert Reed carried a heavy personal burden behind the scenes, what never wavered was the deep respect and genuine connection he shared with his co-stars. The cast's genuine bonds. The relationships between the cast members of the Brady Bunch went beyond the scripted lines and characters. Susan Olsen, who played Cindy Brady, shared some insights into the light-hearted, innocent interactions between the young actors on set. She admitted that there were moments when the cast members would exchange innocent kisses, a gesture that reflected the strong bond they shared off-screen. These moments, though harmless, spoke to the close relationships the cast formed over the years. Olsen mentioned that she and her on-screen brother, played by Mike Lookinland, would often share kisses, emphasizing how real their sibling connection was, both on and off camera. These innocent exchanges were part of the growing process for the young actors. They spent so much time together that their on-screen chemistry translated into real-life friendships. Their close-knit interactions off-screen were a key part of the experience, making the show more than just a job. It allowed them to create genuine emotional connections that would carry over into their performances, giving the Brady Bunch its unique warmth. Barry Williams and Maureen McCormick shared a particularly memorable off-screen bond. Their relationship went beyond the typical friendship. It evolved into a romantic one, though they kept it a secret for many years. In his memoir, Growing Up, Brady, Williams revealed their secret romance, adding a new layer to their on-screen sibling dynamic. Williams described their relationship as more than just a fleeting teenage crush. It was a true friendship that blossomed as they worked together over the years. Their romance mirrored the emotional development of their characters, making their on-screen relationship more believable and authentic. Fans who later learned about the romance between Greg and Marcia gained a fresh perspective on their interactions, knowing that the siblings' chemistry came from a real-life connection. Their hidden romance highlighted the deep friendships and bonds the cast shared. They were family. These genuine relationships off-camera added another layer of depth to the show, showing that the love and connection between the Brady children was more than just scripted lines. For decades, rumors have swirled about an alleged romance between Florence Henderson and Barry Williams. Despite the 20-year age gap between them, the rumors suggested an inappropriate connection between the two throughout the run of the Brady Bunch. Susan Olsen has repeatedly addressed these false claims, emphasizing how they misrepresent the real, respectful relationship the cast shared. Olsen, upset by the ongoing gossip, has always felt compelled to clear the air and show how these rumors distort the truth about their tight-knit, family-like bond. The rumors about Henderson and Williams grew louder over the years, much to the frustration of Olsen. Florence Henderson, born in 1934, was more than 20 years older than Barry Williams, born in 1954. Despite the clear age difference, these rumors lingered. Olsen was quick to dismiss them, focusing on the genuine affection and respect that existed between the two. Barry Williams, like many teenage boys, had a crush on Henderson, whom he admired deeply, but the connection was always innocent and rooted in mutual respect. Olsen insists that the cast's relationships were built on genuine friendships, not the false narratives that occasionally emerged. According to her, there was never anything inappropriate between Henderson and Williams. Their bond was just a reflection of the warmth and respect they had for one another. The rumors, Olsen argues, undermine the true camaraderie the cast shared and the genuine familial connection that made the Brady Bunch so memorable. In 1991, Florence Henderson herself addressed the rumors in a candid interview with People magazine. She explained that while Barry Williams had developed a crush on her during the show's run, it was nothing more than a harmless infatuation. Henderson shared an unforgettable moment from Barry's teenage years when he invited her to dinner for her birthday. Since Barry was too young to drive, his older brother took him to her hotel, and they went out to the Ambassador Hotel in Los Angeles to watch a performance. The evening was innocent and sweet, with Barry ensuring they had a good table and treating her with the utmost respect. After the performance, his brother picked him up and took him home, marking the end of a wholesome evening. Henderson has always maintained that while Barry's crush was genuine, she treated it with kindness and maturity. She loved the attention, but she never allowed the relationship to cross any boundaries. It was clear to her from the start that it was a fleeting teenage crush, something that would naturally fade as Barry grew older. This graceful handling of the situation reflected Henderson's professionalism and her ability to manage the dynamic with Barry in a way that respected both their roles on and off screen. Susan Olsen's efforts to preserve the Brady Bunch's integrity. Susan Olsen has worked hard to set the record straight about the relationships on the Brady Bunch. She wants to make sure that the cast's genuine affection for one another is the focus, not the distorted rumors that have followed them over the years. Olsen has always insisted that the cast members were more than just colleagues. The strong, loving bonds they shared off-screen helped them create the on-screen family that the Brady Bunch became famous for. Lloyd Schwartz, one of the show's producers, has also addressed the rumors that surrounded the Brady Bunch. He has always been clear about the genuine, supportive relationships between the cast members. According to Schwartz, the bonds formed behind the scenes were just as important as the ones seen on screen. The show's success wasn't just due to the actors' performances, but also because of the real love and camaraderie they had for each other. Schwartz has made it a point to remind audiences that the Brady Bunch wasn't just a scripted family, it was a family in the truest sense, with actors who genuinely cared about one another. The rumors about an affair between Henderson and Williams detract from this, but Schwartz and others, like Olsen, have always worked to correct the record and highlight the authentic, familial bonds that helped make the Brady Bunch a cultural touchstone. Barry Williams was deeply committed to his love of music, and his passion for the arts was a central part of his life, both on and off the screen. This enthusiasm sometimes led him to spend extra time with Florence Henderson. Their shared love for music helped form a bond between them, one that was professional and respectful. Schwartz recalled how Barry's music interests often brought him and Henderson closer, but it was always within the context of mutual admiration for each other's work. Schwartz explained that while Barry may have had a youthful crush on Florence, their relationship was grounded in professionalism. Barry, eager to learn and grow, looked up to Florence not just as an on-screen mother, but as a mentor in many ways. Florence, in turn, handled Barry's feelings with grace, understanding that his affections were innocent and harmless. She made sure their connection never crossed any boundaries, keeping everything appropriate and professional. Lloyd Schwartz also shared some intriguing ideas for the future of the show that were ultimately not explored. One of the more ambitious concepts was a storyline where Carol Brady, after the death of her husband Mike Brady, begins dating one of Greg's friends. This plot would have delved into the complexities of adult relationships and how a person moves on after the loss of a significant partner. It was an idea that would have added depth to the series, taking the characters into more mature territory. The notion of Carol dating again was an attempt to bring a real-world element into the show, showing how families and individuals adapt to major life changes. This could have been a powerful storyline, reflecting the realities of life and grief. Schwartz's ambition was to keep the show fresh and relevant, allowing the characters to evolve while still staying true to the themes of family and love that defined the Brady Bunch. While Susan Olsen and others worked hard to protect the show's legacy and honor the cast's genuine connections, Robert Reed fought a different battle, one to protect the show's depth and meaning. Robert Reed's conflicts with the show's direction. While the Brady Bunch was known for its wholesome family values, there was an underlying tension between Robert Reed and Sherwood Schwartz. Reed, known for his dedication to serious acting, often clashed with Schwartz's vision for the sitcom. Robert Reed wasn't just another actor following the script. He was classically trained, with a background in Shakespeare and stage drama, and he took the craft of acting seriously. So, when he was cast in a cheerful family sitcom filled with light jokes, laugh tracks, and occasional dancing, the contrast between his expectations and the show's tone quickly became a point of tension. From the beginning, Reed had a different idea of what the show could be. He wanted to explore deeper emotions and real-world issues, not just the neat resolutions and sunny messages that wrapped up each episode. He often pushed for more thoughtful storylines, especially when it came to his character, Mike Brady. To him, a father navigating a blended family in a changing America had plenty of potential for complexity. But that wasn't the direction the producers wanted. Sherwood Schwartz had a clear vision for the show. He designed it as a feel-good comedy for families, where problems were solved within 30 minutes and nothing too serious ever happened. His goal was to entertain, not to challenge the audience. Reed, on the other hand, constantly challenged scripts, questioned dialogue, and wrote long memos criticizing scenes he felt were unrealistic or too silly. This back and forth became a regular part of the production process. The crew and fellow cast members often found themselves caught in the middle. Reed was professional, but firm in his beliefs. And while his co-stars respected his talent, some found his resistance to the show's tone frustrating. According to producer Lloyd Schwartz, Reed would occasionally refuse to film scenes he didn't agree with or demand rewrites. This didn't stop the show from continuing, but it added an underlying tension that lingered throughout its run. The final straw came during the last episode of the series. Reed objected to a storyline he believed was poorly written and too far removed from the realistic tone he had always advocated. After expressing his disagreement, he was ultimately written out of the episode. The decision not to include the show's central father figure in the finale was jarring and noticeable, but it reflected how deep the creative divide had grown. Despite the conflicts, Reed's performance as Mike Brady remained consistent and strong. His serious approach brought a level of sincerity to the character that helped balance the show's lighter moments. He made Mike Brady more than just a sitcom dad. He gave the role emotional weight and structure, even when the scripts didn't ask for it. In later interviews, those who worked with Reed often reflected on the difficulty of his relationship with the producers, but they also acknowledged his passion. He wasn't trying to ruin the show, but simply wanted it to be more meaningful. He believed the characters deserved more than jokes and matching outfits. He saw potential for deeper storytelling, and that's what he fought for until the very end. Even though Reed's vision never fully aligned with the show's tone, his contributions shaped the Brady Bunch in subtle but significant ways. His presence gave the show a grounding force, and in hindsight, it's clear that the emotional depth he brought helped elevate what could have been just another silly family sitcom. Even with the creative conflicts behind the scenes, the show managed to leave a lasting impact on generations of viewers. The tension between serious storytelling and lighthearted family comedy may have caused challenges, but it also brought balance to the show's tone. That blend of warmth, humor, and occasional depth is what made the series stand out and remain memorable for so long. Did you ever notice the tension behind the scenes while watching the show? Comment down below and let us know your thoughts.